Good morning, friends. I hope everybody's doing well today. It is, let me think here, 9:40, something like that. 9:40 a.m. I've just been, don't know if you can see the floors, but working on laundry and make sure this stupid thing focuses. Sometimes it just drops focus. Working on laundry and going since probably, it was dark outside and I was listening to people scrape ice off windows, so however early that was. Here's something cool. Baby got me a 12 and 12 steps and 12 traditions, so that'll keep me going forward. Got lots of stuff to transcribe, voice memos to transcribe, and man, now I'm doing videos every day. Whew. Anyways, so one of the unfortunate side effects of doing this kind of stuff, as much as I have been, has been being on the internet. What feels like endlessly. The TikToks and now videos. It's got me out here in the ether probably more than I've been in a very, very long time. I would be dishonest to say that I don't troll around and get under people's skin and do that kind of stuff. I definitely do, and I'm better at avoiding it now than I have been in years, man. When I was blogging a number of years ago, it was, as much, if not more, than I'm doing it now, interacting with the internet specifically. But my point being that it's definitely taken a toll. It's not a healthy place to be at the best of times. This morning I was, perusing around looking for blogs so I can try and be better at doing this kind of stuff, and stumbled upon a well-known recovered heroin addict who I've often admired, from the UK and his podcast or what have you, and he was weighing in with his thoughts on the convoy happening here in Canada, and what he believed it to be about, and certainly cherry picking the points that he wanted to put forward, which speaks to his agenda. And this is kind of what we have out here in the ether, is people cherry picking specific flashpoints that they want to push forward and ignoring the unsavory things. And this is confirmation bias at its absolute best. Picking those things that push your points or your agenda or your beliefs forward, as opposed to digesting the whole truth of a situation, no matter how unpalatable it might be. And that's what this whole thing is about at this point, regardless of how genuine and altruistic the initial idea may or may not have been. Whatever, I don't know, and would be lying to even speculate. The point being that the fringe hate groups always connect themselves to this kind of stuff. It's what happens. It's not rocket science. If confirmation bias is your place to be, then certainly you're not going to see this stuff. You're going to cherry pick those things that push your points or push your opinions forward, and you're going to cling to that stuff. You're not going to look at the entire truth of the situation, and the truth is that's what happens. It's what happens with all of this kind of stuff. The hate groups, the racist groups, the white nationalist groups, whether it's in the United States, Canada, wherever, they cling to these types of things and then try to shove their agenda forward and put themselves at the forefront and their thoughts at the forefront, with the added ability to kind of hide behind the big altruistic, idea. And I don't want to get into that. I don't want to wander down that road, and I apologize for spending as much time on it as I have. But that's kind of where my morning has brought me to this point. And I only say that to highlight what I've found in the book, again, which is wonderfully highlighted by our friend, and I believe his name to be Dave, in Bill's story, which is exactly where I would have expected to find a lot of the little highlighted notes. But right here in Bill's story, I found another spot where he highlights in ink the words self-knowledge. And I don't know that everybody arrives there at the same time, but certainly that was the cornerstone for me early on. The recognition that I was heading down this road towards self-knowledge, that the opportunity had presented itself to know myself, to know who I am, to know what I'm about, to know the truest sense of me, in a way that I had never imagined. And it was wonderful to see that. I'm going to say Dave. The inscription reads, Dave, keep in touch. So the book was gifted to somebody named Dave. And I'm going to say Dave found it as important as I do to highlight in ink self-knowledge. He talks about insanity here. He just highlights that and makes a point of momentarily just touching on that. It's wonderful to see his notes. Further on in Bill's story, it was wonderful to see he had actually highlighted faith without works was dead. Such an important part of the story, such an important moment in Bill's write-up, and something that I have continually shared with my own children. And I'm convinced to this day that a large part of what they do here in the community and their music scene stems from that exact lesson that I had learned. Faith without works is dead. And it brings me full circle, hopefully, back to what I was talking about at the beginning of this video. So much of the struggle I've had in recent years on the internet has been being pulled into that negativity out here in the ether, that drumbeat, that impending doom. And wouldn't you know, Dave talks about or highlights that here too as well, right? I just get pulled back into that always, for whatever reason out here. And early on in my 24th year, I think, as happy as I was to celebrate that, I recognized the reality that 24 meant 25 was just around the corner. And I spoke about this in the first video, I think. But it impressed upon me the importance of the opportunity before me to take this and put it in your lap, to highlight that lesson that I've tried to share with my children from Bill's story. Faith without works was dead. To keep this thing going for myself and to realize the highest summits available to me, I have to give it back. I have to give it away. And I have no idea how to do that. I'm sitting here in a basement with walls that we painted, comics that I tried to sell years ago, surrounded by laundry, a makeshift library. This is nothing compared to the most brilliant podcasts out there. I mean, yesterday was Pokemon Day, and a lot of that pulled me away. And if you've seen any of the Pokemon podcasts, my little setup here doesn't look like much at all. My British friend there that, recovered from heroin addiction, his looks pretty spectacular compared to this. So I'm doing the best I can at this point with the limited resources I have. Not that I want much more. What I want is to get this out to you, but I'm hoping against hope that I can find a sweet spot and actually start sharing this experience with you and putting it in your lap in a way that's palatable, because it just doesn't feel palatable to me right now. So to get from where I was at the beginning of the video to where I want to go in future videos. I have no idea what that journey is. I have no idea what it's going to take, but I want to do good works. So there it is, man. There I am, and I hope that on some way today's a good day for you, and I'm hoping that the rest of the day is going to be a positive one for me. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful for this opportunity with this MacBook, this Yeti mic, this Logitech Brio camera. I mean, it's pretty cool to have access to this kind of stuff and to be able to do something with it. And I just hope that what I can deliver eventually becomes a little more sensible. Either way, thanks a lot for tuning in today. And take care, man.